Hello everyone, my name is Emo Trickshot, and today we're going to be talking about the newest update coming to Global Grand Cross. Now I know I haven't made a video in a while on this game, but that's just because not much has happened over the course of the course of a couple weeks. But I think this is a really big update. This is going to be, as you can see, the next big patch, which is the Overlord collab that we're going to be getting. I'm very excited to see everything here. I technically already know what happens, but I will talk to you about what we're getting in this patch, future summon, and we're also going to be talking about some future things that are coming out in the dev notes. So let's just get right into it. So as you can see, here's just a general overview for our characters. We're getting Ainz, Albedo, Shaltir, and Cocytus. Let's just go in. Here you go, all 4 new heroes. So here they all are. We'll go through all their kits and everything in a little bit. So as you can see, exchange, we'll go over Holy Relic when we go over their kits. Here are the bundles or whatever. Here are the missions. The free character is going to be Cocytus. We previously called it collab encore special mission. This is assuming that this isn't an encore, but okay. So as you can see, we get a free multi for doing all these, and you get Cocytus for free after you do all 5. Bingo, which you have to do for 2 Holy Relics, and Ainz headpiece. Ainz's outfit is free, by the way. There's a free outfit for him, and fully, so you can get that. So here is the White Knight, I believe it. I don't remember exactly what it's called. Oh yeah, it's a Riku. His name is Riku, but I'm gonna call him the White Knight because it looks like that. I've not watched Overlord in a long time, so I don't remember everything outside the characters. So you can get another Holy Relic by doing it 9 times. You can do it, I believe, 3 times a day. So keep that in mind. So it'll take you 3 days to get this Holy Relic. I believe you can get this day 1 though if you help other people, so keep that in mind. There's going to be a new labyrinth here. So here's all this. So I will say, I think this version of the collab is much worse because already one big thing is there's no depths, which is really bad. Which means that means you can't farm, you can't have one team that farms at a specific level, like those depths over and over again to get materials. That just doesn't exist. So now you are forced to go through all 3 levels if you want all these rewards. Which you want because, you get a free multi, 20 of these LR coins, and just a bunch of other rewards, right? Which I find is really stupid. I don't know why they got rid of it, but whatever. Same thing as last time. You can get up to 4 heroes. You start with 1 hero. They're all start SSO1. You got to get level up and get SA from doing this. Yada yada. You get the idea. If you play a bit Labyrinth, you know exactly how this works. They're bringing back Chaos Battle to this. It's not gonna happen on patch of. It's actually gonna happen next week. So keep that in mind. The major difference this time around is instead of the hero cost being updated every week, it's actually updated every day. So keep that in mind. So match your AI players possible with a team which exceeds the cost. However, a stat debuff will be applied to all heroes of the team based on the amount exceeding cost. This counter debuff cannot be removed by skills with unique abilities. Interesting. So if there's an AI team you fight so let's say for example that someone uses a team and they don't play Chaos Battle, right? And their team then exceeds the point limit next turn or something, like next day or something, that team will actually be significantly debuffed, which is pretty interesting. So that's encouraging you to keep updating your team, which is pretty nice. Here are the rewards, just like last time. You want to aim for top 1%. Top 5 is not as bad as people might think. So you should be able to aim for top 5, top 10. I think it's possible. But just make sure to do it at least just for the rewards. The rewards are not bad at all. Outfits, you know how it is. Here's this Diamond Perk. You can get another collab relic, which is pretty interesting. If you're just missing one, you can do it if you go in 900 gems, which is pretty interesting. Yeah, so there's 5 in total, which is pretty cool. Login characters, check-in stuff, whatever. King thing again. Don't do this. I swear, if you do this, you are a whale and you actually don't have a use for legendary coins. That's it. That stuff, and yeah. I didn't see. Do they have the character things here? They don't. Interesting. So I don't know if GC Database has it. They do. Okay, cool. We can talk over right here. It's Cocytus here. Cocytus is not here. I don't think it's important to go fully in depth with him though, so we don't have. I remember a general idea of what he does. So I'll talk about. Just know he's PvE only. So he's only really useful in like 2 places, and that's final boss and guild boss. And guild boss, even then, he's like Camilla's on the banner too, which is kind of weird. So like, and he doesn't work well with Camilla. So yeah. But alright, so first thing we're gonna go over is Ainz. We'll go over Ainz first. So Ainz is pretty interesting. So his first card is Declaration. It does declaration damage, which does 4% damage for every mark of death. I'll go over exactly what it is, but just think of this card as Festarosa's single target that does more damage based on how many darkness the enemy has. This AoE is attack stat lower, which is for 2 turns, which is pretty good. The 1 is good. And then single target, ultimate is a single target declaration ult, and then it also has the special ult, like also Esther thing, where like the ult level increases like the mark of death. So specifically the mark of death, if this hero participates in PvP, it only works PvP for some reason. For every mark of death the enemy, decrease the enemy's damage dealt and and final damage dealt by AoE ult by 2%. Damage dealt by final damage by AoE ultimates by 2%. That's so specific, but okay. You all have to remember this. The problem is this goes up to 7% at full, like full 6/6, which is major because that instead of yeah, so instead of like only like 8%, it goes up to 28%, which is much bigger. It's a much big difference. So it's passive. For every unknown ally in battle, increase the hero's basic stats by 10%. When unknown allies attack the enemy, apply marker of death on the enemy. When the hero deals damage with single targets, attacks on an enemy with 4 marker death, activates declaration of death after 1 turn. So basically, he increases his own base stats for every unknown ally. If any unknown ally attacks the enemy, this marker of death, it's different from Festarosa's because you don't actually have to land damage, you just have to use the card, which is pretty good. And then when it's specifically like he does a single target attack on an enemy with 4 of these skulls, it activates this specific debuff, where on the end of the enemy's turn, it instantly kills them. Kind of annoying because you can remove that. It seems like you can remove it with like a cleanse, which is kind of annoying if you ask me, but sure. And as Holy Relic, increases ally base stats for every debuff applied to enemy by 50%, up to 5 times. We'll come back to this. We'll come back. I'll talk about how I feel about all the characters. Next is Albedo. So this is actually, you can see it right, Yu-Gi-Oh card for passive. So let's go through this quickly. Her single target is a single target debuff. So it applies debuff that decreases the enemy's damage dealt by a certain percentage, depending on the level. She has a stance card, which this is actually a very interesting stance, because instead of just doing just raw damage compared to someone like Meliodas, like Meliodas or Estarosa, Green Estarosa I should say, where their counter just does like just their attack, right? Okay, well, like he has HP damage from HP, right? But it's only once. Albedo, that's not Albedo. Albedo does amplify damage, and it's like anytime the enemy hits her while it's up, which is really good. So, and we'll get into why that's super good later. And her ultimate for 2 turns increases her crit chance and crit damage, and then inflicts suppression damage, which is basically just like Quell. I believe that's what it is. I think it's Quell. Nope. I should probably look up Sario. That would help a lot. No, it's actually slightly different. Damage dealt plus 50% per stance effect applied. So does it do more damage the more times I use a stance? Is that what it's saying? Per stance effect applied. And this is saying it's on when you have one active. So I guess this would do... So in my head, I'm thinking this is more damage overall. Yeah. Oh, wait, no, oh, wait, suppression. Oh. This damage actually changes depending on what your ult level is. Okay, so it's kind of like a weaker version of this at 1/6, but at 6 it's much stronger. Okay. Got it. Keep that in mind. So her Yu-Gi-Oh card passive. At the start of battle, 1 turn she applies absolute defense, where she takes 50% less damage. And it doesn't say it here, but it also applies taunt. This applies taunt too. When the hero receives a stance, increase her base stats by 20%. So here's what it is. So if she takes damage during the enemy's turn, she increases attack rate by 10% up to 5 times for 3 turns. So she gets a buff, right, which helps for this. If she isn't hit, the enemies get a debuff that increases damage taken by 4% of enemies for 1 turn at the start of an ally's turn, which is pretty goated. So from that, when the stance is removed, increases attack related stats by 20% for other allies for 2 turns, which is really good. And remember, when it's removed, it can also mean if it just goes away naturally. It doesn't have to like, literally remove from a character, like when like healing or something. Then for every unknown ally in the battle, increase base stats by 7%, which is pretty good. And then her holy relic for each buff pack increases damage taken by 8%. This character, turn 1, is taking almost no damage, right? And afterwards, she'll have so many buffs that if you get another counter, she will absolutely murder somebody. So, and remember, if you hit her, she gets buffs. If you don't hit her, she screws you over. So it's really interesting, to say the least. We'll come back to this in a second. So Shadow Tier, so I think it's best to, we'll come back to the Scimitar in a second. So her sync card is an AoE Infect, which is really good. Ultimate for 2 turns, increase all stats by 5%, so that goes up based on the ult level, so go to 30% at 6/6. Fixed damage equal to 4% of attack on all enemies, and life steals 50% of damage, which is pretty good. I don't think life steal is necessary. You'll see why, but I don't think the life steal is necessary. And for every unknown ally in battle, increase the hero's base stats by 7% because every single one just have to have that. And then when the hero takes damage onto the enemy or when allies take damage on the enemy's turn, she increases her HP-related stats by 7% up to 3 times. And at the start of your next turn, if there are 3 stacks, you remove them and you apply Frenzy, which increases your attack-related stats by 50%, but lowers your defense-related stats by 30%. And then when it's removed, you recover 40% max HP. Again, I don't think it's like necessary, but you'll see why. I think it's better than nothing. And then when the hero inflicts AoE damage, applies bleed on the enemy for 2 turns. The reason this part is really important because of her single target. So it inflicts squeeze damage. That's a stupid name for it, but squeeze does double damage and they'll crit damage targets with bleed, right? So this matters. This is very important. Her Holy Relic, this is why I think having lifesteal on it ultimate is not that big. You recover the HP of all allies with 30% of the damage you inflict on enemies affected by bleed. So I don't think she needs to lifesteal because she'll probably just fully heal with just the ultimate, even at like 2/6 or something, like 1 or 2/6. Even I think you probably still full heal. Now, alright, let's go over like how I feel about every character. All you need about Coquillus is one of his cards, I believe, is Detonate. A second card is Amplify. I believe if you use a card, you remove all debuffs, and for every debuff you remove, you give, I think it is, you give a stat, I don't remember what, maybe attack related stats or HP related stats, I forget, to all allies for every debuff removed. I think it goes like 5 times, I think, right? And his Holy Relic, we can actually look at here. In PvE, increase all stats out of 10% for 2 turns when the hero uses skill. Difference with his passive and this is, this only has to be used, the other one has to land. So that's important. Okay, so Coquillus is PvE, and he doesn't work in my PvP, which kind of sucks, but whatever, right? I think I'm just, as of right now, the weakest of the 3 PvP characters, only because he's so dupe heavy. He's so dupe heavy. Because if you don't have him 6/6, this mark of death is really bad, right? Even at 1 to 3/6, this is very bad. But once you hit 6/6, it becomes much better because you lower the damage by 28%, which is big. Okay, 6%, like 2% for every skull is like for every mark is not that strong if you ask me. Only 8% damage reduction is nothing, right? But 28% is major. You can actually feel that difference. I don't know. I think he's way too heavy of a character, and he doesn't even do that much damage. This card doesn't do as much damage as possible. And you think, oh, instant kill sounds really strong, right? But you have to understand, you have to have 4 of these marks. Then he has to do a single target. Not anyone. He has to do a single target on that person, and then on the enemies at the end of the enemy's turn, they die. And if Ainz dies before that, it also goes away. So. Yeah. It's definitely something. I kind of wish it was a little bit better. The biggest problem also is that just one of the strongest characters in the game is still Hell. And if you AoE against Hell, you just get folded. So yeah, what he needed was like some kind of debuff from like debuff removal or something, or just debuff immunity for him to be like really good, like much better than here. So if Hell goes off meta, he'll come back, but as it stands, he's okay. Shao Tier is better, but inconsistent. The biggest problem is Frenzy is not the easiest to get off because the enemy could just not hit you, and now all of a sudden you don't have Frenzy and you're not doing damage, right? That, and also I really wish this could be anyone that inflicts AoE damage and not just her, because let's say you use the AoE, right? They cleanse and you don't get another AoE. Now your single target is useless again because now you're just doing just raw damage instead of just all that, which sucks. That, and also Frenzy, a big problem is, let's say the enemy lives, she dies. If she gets targeted, she dies because she's getting 30% less defensive stats, and that can kill a nerd. Okay, that can kill a nerd. So I really wish it wasn't like this, but you know how it is. You can't really do much, can you? So yeah, really good. In certain situations, she can be really good, but she's super inconsistent because of what she needs to get. And Albedo was literally just actually broken, like stupid good. So turn 1, she basically can't die because of absolute defense of minus 50% damage taken. And then the enemy, okay, so you got Shen. If you get hit, you get rewarded. If you don't get hit, the enemies get punished. So it now becomes a game of, is it worth hitting Albedo or not? And I say you should absolutely go for hitting Albedo unless she has counter and she has like 5 buffs, then maybe not. But if you don't hit her, you take 4% increased damage at the end of their turn, right? Or at the start of your turn, which means you can kill you can probably kill people with that, which is pretty strong. And since it starts on your turn, it doesn't go away when it's their turn. It has to wait for their turn to end. It's because you don't know, buffs go away at the buffs tick down at the start of your turn, but debuffs tick down at the end of your turn. So if they try hitting you with Albedo, like if you have Albedo stance up and they try hitting you with this up, they die. Straight up, just they die, right? You don't even need the ultimate, bro. The ultimate, it just makes sure it just hits hard, right? Well, all you need is just all this. Like, this is super strong, right? Being able to just take almost no damage turn 1. And remember, this taunts. It doesn't say here, but this taunts. This also taunts too, which is, you know, we should expect this, right? And the fact that she's constantly getting buffs, and this card which will lower their damage as well, this just makes her really hard to kill. And since she's blue, the only real character that can like consistently take her down is Ascanor. I mean, I think he is the best team in the game right now, but still, this is a really annoying character to deal with. It's really hard to get past this defense. And with how strong unknown stats are, yeah, she's really hard to kill. So, really good character. If you're gonna go for 600, you need to pick a character. Let's say you just go 600, you don't get a single character. Go Albedo first. She is the strongest of the 4, and is actually good for a lot of content too, which is nice. So yeah, there's that. Now we're gonna go into the dev notes. We don't have to. This is just the upcoming collab. We don't have to worry about this. This is talking about the changes they're making, so we don't really care about this much. Which is before we'll make this. Yeah, so this is what we're talking about. What we just saw, whatever. Yeah, there's not, outside of that, nothing big. Here's the thing, deathmatch improvements. So actually, I read the JP version of these deathmatch, but I understand it because of translations. So I'm here to see what it means here. The deathmatch represents the 7 days since Grand Cross as the main content that requires consistent playtime is directly related to leveling up a hero, which is true. As a result of the game's progression over the years, it appears to need to add changes and improvements, which is good. So in addition, as new endgame PvE content being released, which is talked about down here, it felt necessary to try and help players with player fatigue by gradually reducing the time needed. So here's the changes. Firstly, instead of having to clear boss battles with penalty for a chance to activate deathmatch in a region, players will soon be able to clear multiple boss battles and activate deathmatch for all regions at once. That's really good. So now you don't have to go through like, oh, here's this one, that one. Nah, that's good. That's really good. Secondly, in order to help players who don't have all the heroes leveled and get enhancement materials faster, the daily limit for how many times deathmatch can be activated in a day will be removed for the normal mode. I'm gonna boot the game here in a second. I'm gonna boot it up right now. Normal mode. Okay, I thought it was normal difficulty. It doesn't seem like that. Let me put the game here. Normal mode. I don't really care. Normal mode. I'm assuming that means the red, gray, and crimson demon. That's what I'm thinking it means. Because okay, if it meant anything else, it would just say the normal difficulty. No, it's just removed for the normal mode. So if you don't know, in background, yeah, right here, you can change this, and it'll change up which demons show up. So here is the normal version, where these two will show up randomly. This is hell, where in the first 3 Galamoth will show up, and the last 3 he'll show up. So I think what this is saying is, in this specific one, the daily limit will be removed. Hold up. There we go. Music changed. There we go. So I think this means that there's no daily limit for these, but there'll still be a daily limit for these, which I'm kind of against, because level 100 is the norm now. If your characters aren't level 100, they ain't doing anything, right? Even level 90, you need level 90 at least. So I wish they at least do it for these guys too, right? Or at the very least, just Belmont. I think if you don't want to do OG, that's fine, but at least Belmont. At least Belmont. Also, I hope they make a way to get more pendants, because getting demon materials is fine, but pendants is also a really big issue too. Alright, so new PvE content. We talked about this. For fun, we want to share some updates regarding the development of new content expected to be released by the end of the year. So expected with like the newest Meliodas, which I guarantee is a Meliodas. I guarantee it's Meliodas at the end of the year. Always has been. It always has been. I don't think they're gonna change here. We're currently working on releasing new endgame deathmatch content, which is tied to the original 7 Days in series. Okay. So this is, I thought it was talking about like Ragnarok or something. No, this is actually just, so in the original, when I read it in the thing, it said the original series. I thought it meant, like their original OCs, like Ragnarok. But no, I think it means really tied to the 7 deadly sins. The new deathmatch will activate temporarily after reaching certain conditions and will maintain the original boss battle aspect. The new deathmatch will have its own system and strategy requirement. Unfortunately, the development is further process ongoing. We'll be able to share more in the dev note, but we promise to bring more information about it in our next dev note. Okay, so it's for the next. So next dev note should be sometime next month, or correctly if I can quickly check here. Our last dev note, yeah, was like October 1st, and this is here. So expect this sometime at the like maybe mid-November, maybe like after the banner after these guys. Okay, so this might be like related to the demon. So if you don't remember, if you look at leaks, there's a leak where we fight the Demon King that is that's infused into Britannia. That might be what this is referring to. It's deathmatch content tied to the original 7 Days in series. That might be what it is. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, as it stands, the whole, I think this update is fine. I am kind of disappointed in the Overlord collab, because for what I was expecting, it like Ainz. Why is Ainz the weakest of the three? Like why is Ainz the most restricted? I don't understand that. Ainz is the main character, and yet he feels like he's taking a back seat to Albedo, right? And Shaltir is just inconsistent, right? She's good but inconsistent. If they make her more consistent, I think she would be much better. And Calculus is just, I was hoping at least Calculus would be as good as Kizna, but he's not even that. He's like subpar. So yeah, that's his entire patch. Hopefully you're excited as I am, because at the very, even though I'm not exactly hyped for like, I feel like the characters are kind of I still am hyped for the Overlord collab. I am, this is an IP I actually am okay with, I actually like, and compared to like Mikoku Tensei and like the AOT rerun was a disaster, so this is a nice change of pace. So hopefully you guys enjoy this collab. It comes out in 2 days, and hopefully you get all the characters, and I will see you all in the next video.